How's it going, guys? Big O here, and in today's video I want to go over my 5 rules to just laughing at yourself on, anything. So before we get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so you guys get notified when I upload next. So let's get into it. So rule number 5 that I would have in actually laughing at yourself is to realize that it is actually a sign of maturity. Because only mature people are able to just laugh at themselves, because it's just something that, you have to realize that you're going to make mistakes, and if you just have the ability to just laugh at yourself, you're more than likely going to be great at, just looking at life in a more positive way. So, if you're not willing to laugh at yourself, you're just not going to have that same maturity level of most people, or of very few people. But, it's always easy just to learn how to laugh at yourself, because it's just starting off by, you know, just whenever you make a mistake, just laugh at yourself. Be like, hey, I made a mistake. Oh well. It's always great, you know? So just realize that it's a sign of maturity. Now, rule number 4 is that it shouldn't be a thing to suppress your emotions, because you shouldn't really try to use it as a coping mechanism to suppress your emotions. It's more or less a thing that, you should just use it to just kind of push it to the side, be like, hey, it happened, it's fine, but it's not a thing to suppress your emotions, because the more you suppress those emotions towards those aspects, that's what's going to create more problems, more of those mistakes. So if you realize that you're going to make a mistake, but if you have an emotion towards it, laugh it off up front, or, well, actually, no. If it's actually something that has to do with, let's say, you made a mistake with, a certain thing from somebody else, you shouldn't laugh those things off if it's really, like, an emotion that you feel. It's something that if you, like, kind of make a mistake and it's just something very little, laugh it off, that's fine. But if it's something that has to do with a bigger aspect to it, take it on up front with that person. It shouldn't just be something that is just laughed to the side with. So just realize when you can laugh at yourself. If you make a mistake for yourself, it's perfectly fine. But if it's due to an emotional thing with another person that you really care about, it shouldn't be laughed on. So, just realize that it's a mature thing to do, and it shouldn't be a thing to suppress your emotions. Now, rule number 3 is to actually realize that it's actually a really attractive feature to have. I don't know how this works, but psychologically, apparently, I think I know how it works, actually. But psychologically, apparently, when you're laughing at yourself from making a mistake, first of all, it is a sign of maturity, so that basically allows other people to realize that you are more mature for just laughing at yourself for making a mistake. And it just allows other people to, laugh with you. Because if you're laughing at yourself for making a mistake, it allows other people to laugh at your mistake as well. And it allows other people to, just kind of realize that you're not exactly going to worry about those mistakes that you make. You're trying, because you know that you're trying to be a better person, but you're not always going to be that kind of you're always going to make mistakes. So, if you laugh it off, it's perfectly fine, and it's more attractive to other people. So, it's a sign of maturity. You shouldn't suppress your emotions doing it, and it's just an attractive feature when it comes down to it. Now, rule number 2 that I would have is more of the mentality when it comes down to it. Because, having that carefree mentality is exactly what you should have when it comes down to just laughing at yourself. Because if you're having to care about every single thing, you're more than likely not going to be able to laugh at yourself on everything, because if you're caring about every little mistake that you make, you're just you just are more or less going through this mentality where you're not able to make those, you know, decisions to just, push it off, be like, hey, like, I made a mistake, whatever. But, that's why you need a carefree mentality when it comes down to it, because you're able to just kind of push it off and be like, hey, I just made a mistake. It's fine. I just shouldn't do that mistake again now that I know about it, you know? And this is how I did it. So, having that carefree mentality allows you to kind of reflect on it and laugh it off and just kind of see exactly what you could do differently later on after the fact. Because you're not always going to, be able to think about that mistake that you made up front. So, just laugh it off and then think about it later. That's basically that carefree mentality. So, realize that it's going to be a mature kind of, it's going to show you you off as a more mature person. It's something that you shouldn't suppress your emotions with. You should allow yourself to realize that it's more of an attractive feature than anything else, so just laughing it off will show more attraction towards yourself, or not attraction towards yourself, but attraction from other people towards yourself. And that you just have to have more of a carefree mentality to actually laugh at yourself more often. Now, rule number 1 that I would have is to always just reflect on yourself after you laugh it off. I think I stated this in the last rule as well, is that you should always reflect on yourself. Now, of course, you're always going to be able to reflect on yourself in a more positive way because you did laugh it off. You laughed off that mistake just because, you realize that it's a petty mistake. Anyone can make those kinds of mistakes, and you were just willing to laugh it off and not worry about it. So, the more you're able to just reflect on it in a more positive way, the more you're going to actually get to a point where you're willing to construct yourself into a person that doesn't make those same mistakes over and over again. Because, if you're able to reflect yourself in a more positive way, the less likely you are to make mistakes, those same exact mistakes that you have been making over and over and over again. So the more you laugh it off, the more you're going to look at it in more of a positive way, and the more you are going to actually kind of see that it's not exactly something that really was that bad as you actually thought of it to be, once you reflect on it. So, those are my 5 rules. Realize that it's a sign of maturity, and, the more you do it, the more mature you are, because you realize that you're just going to make mistakes your whole life. It shouldn't be a thing to suppress your emotions, because, it's kind of bad to suppress your emotions, because, the more you do it, the more depressed you get. The more depressed you get, the more, bad stuff are going to happen. To realize that it is an attractive feature to have, because the more you laugh at yourself, it is just going to be that much more attractive and allow other people to realize that you're not exactly a uptight kind of person. So the more you're willing to laugh at yourself, the more attractive it is. And to actually be able to do it more often is to just have a carefree mentality. Now, of course, I might actually go over having a carefree mentality in a future video, so stay tuned for that, just because I don't know exactly how many of you guys actually know what a carefree mentality is, so I'll go over that in a future video. And it just allows yourself to reflect on yourself in a more positive way. So the more you're actually able to reflect on yourself in a positive way, the more constructive you are instead of being destructive. So those are my 5 rules. If you guys have anything different or anything to add to that, go and leave it in the comments down below with any of your guys' suggestions, and who knows, it might actually help somebody else's day out. So yeah, share with the community, see what other people think, so on and so forth. And that Name My YouTube Channel contest challenge, whatever you guys want to call it, is still going on. So if you guys want a chance to win a shout out in a future video of mine, go and leave a like, subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so you guys get notified when I upload next. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.